Welcome to Gen X Unfiltered, where three Gen Xers dig through the emotional junk drawer of life
and turn it into an unhinged group chat about everything from pop culture and personal growth to the stuff we never really unpacked.
If you've ever been told to toughen up without crowding commercials, you're our people.
Welcome back to Gen X Unfiltered, the podcast where we peek over the fence of TV history to catch the quirkiest, nosiest, and most unforgettable neighbors Gen X grew up loving and sometimes loathing.
That's right. From porch-pounding pranksters to fence-side philosophers, these neighbors always knew how to make a scene without ever knocking politely.
So grab your oversized shoulder pads and dial up the rotary phone. It's time to ring up the top 10 TV neighbors who made the 80s and 90s sitcoms feel just a little too much like your own block.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, it was not the easiest of reads. I'm not going to lie. They had a lot of random words in there for Eric and I.
Yeah. A lot of extra words.
Yeah.
ChatGPT.
I like to keep you guys on your toes, okay?
Yeah, hopefully it sounds all right.
It's fine. It's funny.
I just like to blame technology for my problems.
It's fine. We're all friends here. We're all neighbors here. It's okay. We're work in progress all the time.
Yeah. For having never read this before, it's nothing better than going in cold and doing it live.
That's not true.
Do it live.
We did a rehearsal. They always out here trying to make me look like the drill sergeant.
Well, we read it once.
That's fine. Anywho, we are doing our top 10 TV neighbors. Again, we got the list populated, that's the word, by ChatGPT. So don't blame us if we're missing or whatever on the list, okay?
Well, it's always interesting when we ask ChatGPT to make us lists because we might not agree with it, right?
Well, no, and that's what kind of makes it more fun than just one of us sitting down and making the list. This way it's completely, quote unquote, random.
Well, it's a little more organic for our reactions too, right? If we just pick our favorites or cherry pick this list, it's kind of not the same thing.
Yeah.
And it adds a little element of surprise with whatever quirky little sentences ChatGPT wants to add.
Yeah, because I have not read this at all, so.
All right, we have the top 10 quirky, annoying, and lovable legends, the neighbors.
All right, let's go.
So again, top 10, starting at number 10. This is, I guess, the worst out of the list or the least favorite. I don't know how they do it, but we have Mr. Heckles from Friends, the grumpy ghost of apartment 5A, quirky and mysterious with a deep hatred for noise, one part weirdo, one part relatable elder millennial energy.
Okay, was this the guy that lived upstairs? He used to knock on the ceiling or vice versa, something like that?
Yeah, he used to pound on the floor to say they were too loud, and then they get the broom and take the top.
Okay, I do remember them knocking.
He died, so he
right?
was only really in it for probably the first few seasons. But he was just the typical grumpy old man neighbor.
Okay, I didn't watch every episode of Friends, but did you actually see Mr. Heckles, or was he just
That was Michael. I couldn't remember.
You did see it. I think at first it was more like just the guy, Mr. Heckles, but no, he was like an old man who wore a robe and he had like a cat. Okay. So he came to the door to complain a lot of times.
Oh.
Yeah, I definitely remember them using the broomstick to bang on the ceiling, but I mean, totally not picturing what this guy looked like or that at all.
Only because Friends was super popular, I think he made this list. Otherwise, in the span of the whole entire show, I mean, I remember Ugly Naked Guy more than I remember Mr. Heckles.
Yeah. I do remember Fat Naked Guy, yeah.
Ugly Naked Guy, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, Friends was such a huge show that, they had to throw a bone, I guess.
Yeah, that's sort of considering that wasn't in the whole show and was just sort of sporadic.
He definitely fits the last place of this list so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, number 9, we have Larry Dallas, Three's Company, the wingman with zero chill. He walked in with big schemes and bigger collars. Annoying, yes. Lovable, also yes. If only for the disaster he brought with him.
I remember Larry, the big black
pompadour
hair,
lapels,
and the lapels,
he was
going down the Regal Beagle.
I didn't religiously watch Three's Company. I've seen it. I know he was the neighbor, but yeah, I remember him just kind of being the loud playboy.
Yeah,
was he actually a playboy or wannabe playboy?
More of a wannabe playboy. I think he liked the ladies, but I don't think they really liked him. Yeah.
How often did he actually ended up got hooked up or scored? I don't know.
Yeah. Was he was he in a lot of episodes?
Yeah, from what I remember, I mean, okay, we're pretty young for Three's Company.
Yeah.
It was definitely
I think I started before we were born.
Yeah, so I remember watching it, but it was already I think off the air by that point.
I watched the reruns and thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. But when we were watching, it was reruns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to remember though, him, Larry, and Jack Tripper and that sort of dynamic.
It was a guy's dream having 2 girl roommates, hot girl roommates.
Well, that was the whole thing, right? He had the 2 good-looking roommate. Well, especially Chrissy.
Yeah.
Suzanne Summers,
It's just really interesting because the whole premise of the show wouldn't fly today, right?
No, with Mr. Roper.
Yeah.
Kind of
Why was he creepy?
No. But he always thought that John Ritter was
gay.
gay.
Yeah, the reason he allowed John to live with those two women in his like rental place was because he thought John Tripper was or Jack Tripper, sorry, was gay.
So I'm guessing there was a lot of inappropriate gay jokes.
Yeah,
or at least the references were sort of definitely derogatory in nature.
It wouldn't fly in today's society.
It
didn't age well.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, like the John Ritter character, like he would be like, going to the Regal Beagle to pick up girls, and then, as soon as Mr. Roper showed up, oh, no, he's effeminate and...
and maybe Mr. Roper, I remember he would kind of make, or not even, or Mr. Furley, one of the two, maybe both, but they would kind of make sort of the hand gestures of like...
Yeah.
Sort of being a quote-unquote fairy or whatever you want, like girly, I guess, or whatever,
effeminate. Yeah.
So, I mean... I kind of feel like out of all the neighbors that maybe maybe Mr. Roper did make it on here. I don't know.
But to be honest, I didn't realize Larry was a neighbor. I knew they were friends, but I don't remember him specifically living in like their, because it was like a little condo complex or whatever.
I always thought of him was more of a wingman than a neighbor.
Yeah, exactly.
Your computer just turned off.
It did, yeah.
I don't know if it was important, but...
No, but I'm going to turn it back on while we're talking because it's going to turn off again.
All right, number 8.
Is any good?
Ready for number 8?
I'm ready for number 8.
All right, we have Newman from Seinfeld. Chaos in mail carrier form, dramatic entrances, snack thievery, endless beef with Jerry. He was basically the neighborhood troll, and we loved every second.
Okay, I love this entry. Newman is an amazing neighbor, an amazing character, and I'm surprised he's number 7 on this list.
Well, I don't know. Maybe
number 8. Sorry,
maybe the other 6 are even better.
I hope so. Because
Newman was a.
Oh yeah, Newman and Jerry, their dynamic, how much that they hated each other was amazing.
And then him and Kramer too, with their oddball relationship, all these weird schemes
they were
would
always
get into and stuff like that. Like he was good. Yeah,
it was weird because Jerry had to put up with Newman because he was kind of Kramer's buddy.
Basically. Exactly. They hated each other.
I didn't realize that Newman was a neighbor. I thought he was just like a friend.
They lived on the same floor.
Yeah, they lived in the same building.
Same building.
Yeah.
I feel like I always say this, and trust me, there is stuff out there I liked, but Seinfeld was one of those shows. I've seen a lot of the episodes, but I never really, I thought all the characters were annoying.
No, that was sort of the point. They were all kind of really crappy people, self-absorbed and whatever. It was kind of like we were talking about this before. It was basically like a PG kind of, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, Newman was the fat, short guy.
He was a mailman,
No, he was not a part of the gang.
No, he was not George Costanza.
No, I know he wasn't. I'm just saying, I'm not that dumb. I knew he wasn't George Costanza. I'm just trying to picture who he is in my head, and he was the shorter fat guy with the curly black hair.
Yeah, the glasses. Yeah, he was in Jurassic Park and stuff like that,
Yeah. Okay. And whenever Jerry would see me, he'd be like, Newman, because...
Yeah, hello, Newman.
Hello, Newman.
But was Newman actually, like... a bad person?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was definitely not a good guy.
Oh, yeah. I thought he was just like annoying and lovable, and that's why Jerry was...
No. I don't think anyone on that show was really lovable.
No, he tried to get Jerry up on mail fraud charges and...
Yeah. No, they were definitely not... it was not lovable. There definitely had a lot of animosity between those two.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, number 8 was Newman from Seinfeld.
That was a good one.
Again,
maybe 8 a little low on the list.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. Number 7, Kimmy Gibbler, Full House, the human exclamation mark. That's a really good description for her.
Yeah, she was loud.
Never knocked, always clashed, fashion-wise and socially, annoying to adults, bestie material to Gen X kids.
Jesus.
Again, you've heard in the past podcasts where Full House seems to make an appearance in all of them. Full House is one of my least favorite shows. But she definitely was a good neighbor character because, she was in it the whole series from start to finish.
I'll say this. She did annoying really well because she made the other characters who already were annoying seem less annoying.
Yeah, I know. And definitely, in terms of neighbor, was not a quote-unquote good neighbor, but memorable for sure.
I also think that she was good because that whole entire Tanner family was so, straight edge and perfect that she, kind of... And, she wasn't bad. She was just quirky, but compared to all those little
just annoying and didn't really have any boundaries, kind of like your nightmare neighbor, just in a teenage form or whatever, preteen, I guess, or whatever age they were.
Danny didn't like her.
Well, no, because she would come over, sort of said, just kind of barge in and would say things like, oh, why is the house so messy? Or call out stuff
under Danny's skin. Yeah.
Didn't she call him Tanneritos or something? I can't remember.
Yeah, Ola Tanneritos wasn't her greeting. Yeah.
Everyone had a catchphrase in that show. Oh my God.
But she made it she even made the reboot. She's one of the main characters in the reboot. So
she was a pretty big, and that's the thing talking about we're from the Friends character who was kind of randomly there. From what I remember, Kimmy Gibbler
from
was
start to finish,
quite in there quite a bit. I don't know if that was always a plan or because of she's funny and has good chemistry that they just kind of kept that character around more and more, but she was definitely a big part of that show.
But Kimmy had soft moments, like when DJ, spent too much time with her boyfriend, forgot her birthday. Kimmy was sad and felt left out because she had in the land of like
Kimmy was a real person too.
That's true.
In the land of 90s perfect family sitcoms, Kimmy came from like not like her home life wasn't bad, but just her parents didn't really pay much attention.
It always seemed
to
like
her.
that. Yeah, I can't remember if she had older siblings or
She had
something
an
like
older
that
brother.
or something. Yeah, but always dressed very like loud and like kind of clashy colors and stuff. The outfits kind of matched that personality.
She
of just
marched
like,
to her own drum, beat to her own
absolutely,
drum.
yeah.
Good for her. You go, Kimmy. You show those stuck-up tanners.
That's right. But definitely she was good.
Yeah.
A good neighbor. Like I said, not necessarily a neighbor you'd want, but definitely memorable.
I think we also have to, like, because I was thinking of this too when they make this list. It's not necessarily like when you say the top 10 neighbors, it's not necessarily like the top 10 nice. It's just sort of memorable neighbors,
that's sort of what I'm saying. Is that Kimmy Gibb was definitely not a neighbor you want to have, but in terms of being a memorable neighbor, definitely worthy of this list.
Oh, exactly. When I hear the name, I just think nails on the chalkboard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that was just mission accomplished. That was the goal of her, and she did a really good job.
Do you think that Newman should be ahead of her?
Oh, totally.
Is that just because you like the show better?
Yeah. And
okay, well, I mean, A for honesty, or
I like it to a lot better than Full House.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
And Newman as a character, he was way more dynamic than Kimmy Gibbler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was also like a kid, so
exactly.
On a super like perfect show,
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely, yeah.
All right, we're already on 6. We're just a whipping through this list. All right.
Yeah, let's go. What's 6?
Eric's like, we're not going fast enough. Let's go. I got food to eat.
I got something to do. Let's go.
Are you getting hangry?
Not yet.
Oh, almost?
I had some cheese and crackers before I came over.
Smart.
Oh, look at you. Did you have some rosé or Prosecco with it?
No.
Cheese and crackers?
I had some Ritz crackers and some cut up cheese slices.
Oh, so it was like, basic. Basic bitch cheese
just
and
some fuel. Just get some fuel in the tank.
Exactly. A little fuel in the tank to get me through.
It wasn't like a full charcuterie board.
God, no. I don't have time or energy for that kind of thing.
You don't got time for charcuterie.
Yeah.
We need to start having charcuterie boards when we do this.
I'd be all over that.
Although
probably obnoxious to eat the microphones.
All you would hear would be us like, hold on, I gotta eat the salami.
Oh my God, the chewing sounds.
Oh God.
Ugh.
All right. Number 6 is Marie Barone. Everybody loves Raymond, the uninvited guest who basically lived there, cooking, judging, and mothering from across the street. She annoyed everyone and somehow held the show together. She was one of the best things about that show.
Yeah, and that's definitely a different, unique kind of neighbor because that was his mother and mother-in-law. So that's a whole other dynamic.
But
that's not just an annoying neighbor. That's like family.
She played that role very, very, very well. And she was the total stereotypical Italian mom to the oldest boy.
Overbearing.
Always. Generally, I think came from a place of love.
She did. I mean, she was nasty to the mom.
Completely overbearing, completely overstepping her bounds every step of the way, but always coming from a good place, I think.
Yeah, definitely was like a smother-in-law.
Yeah, she was not trying to, maybe she was trying to push the wife out a bit. I don't know, but generally, I think she was coming from a place. She thought she was helping everybody.
Yeah, she think she was trying to make sure she was still the dominant matriarch in the family.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I have sympathy for. I'm sure just like in the show. What was her name?
Patricia Heaton.
No, but like her character. Oh my God, I'm totally forgetting. Deborah.
Oh,
I'm sure
the wife,
that, Deborah obviously loved her because it was her mother-in-law, blah, blah, blah. But like the overbearing some other people who live that in their real life, God bless you. You guys are very patient.
My parents had a friend who almost was in that exact situation. And
Was it an Italian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
wow.
Yeah. Not so good.
Italian moms, they love freaking hard. You can't really fault them if they don't have evil intentions, obviously.
No, exactly.
No. It's just a lot.
Yeah.
But also too, like when, they've generally speaking, obviously, and in this scenario, they've raised their son to be coddled and taken care of. Like, no wonder Ray was like a useless human being.
Yeah.
That's you kind of wonder why, talking about, like sort of wimp, no backbone fathers, husbands. He was kind of at the top of that list.
Oh, totally.
But he was kind of raised, which is funny though, because his dad on the show was so.
He was, but his dad also was like, didn't have to do anything. She did everything for him too.
Well, that's true too. Yeah,
he was just grumpy because he was, a boomer. And
he was a lot of bark.
Yeah.
But like he there was many episodes where he's sitting there and he would get mad because it was 5:01 and his dinner wasn't on the table.
True, yeah.
You know,
where's
And that's just the way it is. I mean, that's just how some households run, and it's fine. But it's just, and obviously a TV show's over exaggerated. But I feel like there are real life scenarios like that.
Oh, absolutely.
When you have an Italian mom.
I said, I know my parents had a friend, and it was very similar to that. I think probably a little more evil and narcissistic, but
yes, you do have that line.
Like a very similar scenario to that, and not good stuff.
All right, we're in the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, top 5.
Sweet.
Dang. Eric, can you at least pretend like you want to be here?
I do want to be here. I'm just excited to get to number 1.
So far, he's already been like, let's hurry up.
I have like little to no patience, and I want to get to number 1.
Because first of all, the thing is, too, is that Eric, I could tell during Steve and I just talking about that, Eric zoned out a little bit.
No,
so his comment of sweet was just like a reaction to the conversation ending. You probably didn't even really. So when you said sweet, it sounded like you're like, sweet, we're hurrying up. Let's go.
Not at all. I'm excited for number 1.
Relax, you'll get there.
Okay, I'm relaxed. Okay. Who's next?
Number 5.
Oh.
Urkel. Family Matters, the original pop-in king. With a voice that could shatter glass and suspenders that defied fashion, Steve was pure sitcom gold. I mean, it was a great character.
He was like the Kimmy Gibbler of that show.
He was.
But next level.
He was.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not like, it's like the Kimmy Gibbler, right? Like he wasn't just, I know he wasn't really friends with any of them, but he didn't just come over to see the kid. He annoyed everybody in the family, like the dad, the mom.
He would just come over regardless of who was home. Yeah.
What was his entrance?
Whoever was the poor bastard that was in the house, he was hanging out with him.
What was his entrance? Didn't he always have an entrance that he said something? I feel like he did.
He had a million catchphrases.
Did
he was
he?
like, "Got any cheese? Did
Yeah.
I do that?"
But I do feel like
that?
I feel like there was some sort of entrance he would do, but I can't think of it now.
And he was in love with Laura, right?
Did he say Neighborinos?
No, that was Tannerinos.
The Tannerinos. Okay, never mind.
I don't remember what his catchphrase is, but I mean, he is an iconic neighbor.
Oh yeah, and not even that, but like he kind of ended because he was the star of that show, I think.
Oh yeah,
he owned the show.
I don't know if that was the intention, but 100%.
Probably not.
Because eventually it all came about him.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, every episode he was in, and then storylines revolved around it. But I don't know, but I feel like the show was called Family Matters, so I feel like he was just a side character.
Yeah.
At first, I'm sure that was the case.
Yeah.
I think that's probably exactly it. And it's like, hey, wait, he's really funny. People are really digging it. Let's explore that more and see where it goes. And
they leaned in on that. Next thing you know, we've got his robot, whatever that thing was called.
Stefan.
Right. No, that was his like alter ego. There. I don't know if he took a potion or something.
Stefan or Urkel, yeah.
It was like that was like the cool
suave.
Steve, yeah.
And then Laura liked that.
Yeah.
Laura, ugh.
What's wrong with Laura?
She would like the cool version of Steve, but not his authentic self.
Okay, that's fine.
He had to take a potion to get her attention.
That's fine, but I feel like it takes a special type of person to, that level of annoyance. But I feel like at one point he did have a girlfriend that was dorky like him.
He did, 100%. Yeah. He definitely had a girlfriend, yeah. I don't remember her name now, but he definitely
later on he did, yeah, you're right. And they were more of like a dorky kind of match, yeah.
Forgot about it, but no, 100%. He was... Yeah, like number 5. That's
Yeah. Do you remember his robot that he built that looked just like him?
Yeah, it looked just like him. I don't remember what.
I think it went evenly that he had to kill it.
That's dark.
It was like Terminator 2.
It was.
He became self-aware. Oh God,
Jesus.
But like, if you think about it, it's I don't know what the word funny is, but like obviously this was in the 90s, and like Steve Urkel obviously had some would say unhealthy obsession with the oldest daughter Laura, and nowadays I feel like just wouldn't fly in a TV show. It'd be like creepy and weird.
No, I don't think so. Or I mean, if it did, you still see that kind of stuff. It has a much more darker tone to it.
That's true. It's not as innocent and like because I mean, look, like Steve Urkel wasn't a bad guy. He just loved who he loved. And look, I gotta give props to Steve Urkel. I mean, he knew who he was. He embraced who he was, and he just
you really could do like a dark reboot of that show. And Steve Urkel is like a stalker character.
You could almost
like stalking the family.
Yeah, it's almost like that. I don't know what that with the guy from Gossip Girl. That Netflix.
You?
Is that kind of? I've never seen it, but
that's a really weird show.
But wasn't he kind of like that? Really infatuated with a girl or something?
Yeah,
I've never seen it, but I thought that's.
But he was like next level psycho. So.
But I'm saying, but you could do like a dark version with like Steve Urkel.
How about we don't? How about we just leave Family Matters as a family friendly show?
I'm not saying to do it, but I'm just saying.
They tried that with Fresh Prince, right?
Fresh Prince. I was saying the Fresh Prince had more of a gritty.
Fresh Prince had a reboot, but it was grittier.
Yeah, it was more like a dramatic.
I literally never knew Fresh Prince was rebooted.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago.
With them.
I don't know if it's still on.
Somebody made a YouTube trailer about it.
Yeah.
Oh.
And like Will Smith and them saw him were like, hey, that's really good. Let's do that. And it was
Was Will Smith in it?
No.
Oh.
I don't think so.
I mean, obviously it didn't go very far because like
I don't think it ever took off, really. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I never actually saw it.
But you can't do it with stuff like that because, like, Family Matters and Fresh Prince, like, they're so just nostalgic.
Well, it's
like,
hard to...
Even people that were fans back then of it, like, I'd be like, yeah, no, I'm not watching a dark version of Steve Urkel. Like, that's weird. That's not who he is.
I mean, if you want to kind of just call it something totally different, but yeah.
I'm not
Can you imagine like Steve with those catchphrases, but they're evil? Like, did I do that?
Yeah.
And it's like actually
that's
legit
so weird.
evil.
I don't like that. That's
There's
weird.
a body on the floor. He's like covered in blood. Did I do that?
Oh my god, you guys just went really dark.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, if anybody takes our idea and runs with it and becomes a big hit, you owe us. So.
Yeah, please cut us in.
Yeah.
Take the executive producer credits. We don't actually want any to do the work, but we'll take some of the credits.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll take the money.
No, I was just saying, we'll be like executive producers.
All right, we are going to take a very, very brief switch the camera break, and we'll be right back.
All right, let's go.
All right, guys, we are back with the top 4.
All right, we are in the top 4.
Dang.
All right, we have at number 4, Mr. Feeney, Boy Meets World, the wise fence whisperer. He wasn't just the neighbor, you wanted him as your neighbor. Life advice came standard. I actually forgot he was the neighbor.
Yeah, he was.
I thought he was just the teacher.
He double duty. Yeah, he's the teacher. Did he become a principal too? I think at some point. I can't remember. But then, yeah, definitely was the neighbor too.
Here's my question: Did he give life advice to like the parents too, or was it just like the kids?
I think it was mostly just to
Corey.
Corey, yeah.
Okay.
I believe so.
Mr. Feeney is like the lovable character though. Like he had to have made this list. I think he deserves to be in the top 5. I mean, he was just a lovable old man.
Well, he was kind of, I was going to say, wasn't he more of a, he was kind of like a
curmudgeon?
I thought you were going to say he was kind of creepy.
No, I was like a judgmental prick.
Oh, maybe the wrong show.
He's always judging Corey and everything his friends did.
Like, was he? I feel like he cared about it.
Oh no, he definitely cared, but sometimes
he was like a typical old man teacher. I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes he sort of seemed more like he was always trying to help them, but just kind of I don't know.
I mean, I could see that.
Kind of like a Mr. Hand.
Who's that?
Oh yeah,
from Fast Times original. Kind of that where he tried to help Spicoli, but wasn't the most kind and caring sometimes.
No. I'm sorry, I thought Mr. Feeney was a lot nicer.
But I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. That's just my recollection of it. He was more like he was always trying to help, but kind of like.
Why do you have such a hate on for Mr. Feeney? I think we need to
I don't have a hate on for him.
We need to dive deeper, Steve. Your psychological reasons.
So I don't need some old guy telling me what's my business.
I like them better when he was the voice of Kit.
That's right. Yeah, the guy's been around a long time.
I mean, he has an iconic voice, though. Sorry, iconic might be a little strong, but recognizable.
No, I think he definitely hears his voice. I couldn't tell you the actor's name though. Like I don't know what his name is.
Is he still alive? I feel like he can't be.
He passed on.
Like I feel like he'd have to be like 95 now.
He was. I know he was around because he was definitely up in like his 90s or something. I've never seen pictures of him somewhere, but I'm not sure if he's still
R.I.P.
alive
Mr. Feeney. But I think Mr. Feeney, like he was a big part of the show.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I kind of feel like the same thing. Like maybe he was not like he's just the teacher. And then kind of grew into like more of a presence on the show.
He was everybody's grandpa.
Yeah, he was sort of like the the moral compass of the show.
Like
maybe
the wise old sage.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what his role was. Yeah, imparting life wisdom on the Matthews boys. That was it, Corey Matthews, right?
Smart up, boys.
All right, we are in the top 3. Already, guys.
3.
Top 3.
Wow.
Number 3 is Kramer from Seinfeld, the human tornado. His entrances alone earned him a spot. He brought snacks, schemes, and no sense of boundaries.
That's a good one. Kramer was fantastic.
Was he a bad guy too?
No. Just
he was the least of the badness.
He was more of a incompetent doofus.
Yeah. Like he was,
but he just kind of fell into like success.
Yeah, he was definitely always just up to weird schemes and shenanigans and stuff, but he was never a bad guy or
or bad intentions. Yeah.
I mean, the entrance alone, like even I know the entrance.
Oh, him sliding through that door, yeah.
I wonder though, like I always think of these things. This is probably totally how it happened. It probably happened like accidentally one time he did it when he entered the room because obviously he's an actor. He's whatever, and then he slid in and it became like the bit.
Yeah, I have no idea how that started, but I'm sure. Like,
I'm sure it was something like that. Yeah,
because I feel like
physical comedian.
I feel like as like the show progressed, they kind of even got like more dramatic, like more like swooshy, you know?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. He kind of would play that more for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, his entrances in and out of the door definitely got like more dramatic as the series went on.
Yeah,
I want to start entering doors like that.
I would love to see you try.
That would be good.
Why? You don't think I can do it?
No,
you couldn't do it. You don't have long enough legs.
Oh,
Steve
hey,
could do it.
It's not so much I think it's more the shoes.
Oh, yeah, the sliding shoes.
I don't think my Adidas is going to slide anywhere.
You need wheelies.
That would be an entrance slide on through on some Heelys.
I can't stop.
Or Heelys or whatever they're
I don't
called.
know if they still exist.
Oh, they do. Not as popular, but they do.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I remember my old job, a guy in security, the security guard would wear them. And you'd see him on like an evening shift or afternoons when it was quiet. I remember one day I was sitting there doing some work and I look at the glass like window and he's just wheeling by. He's like gives me the hi, but he's just like gliding. I'm like, what is he doing? I'm like, oh, he's on his heels and he's like just gliding by on the floor. It's like that's pretty smart. He's got to do his patrols. I'm like, hey, why not
look how fast you got the patrol
save
done.
a couple of steps? Yeah.
Would you agree that Kramer a more iconic neighbor than Newman? Like, which neighbor do you like better?
No, definitely.
You like Kramer better?
Kramer's better. Oh,
and do you think he deserves to be in the top 3?
Easily.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would say top 2 even.
Yeah, he was. Okay. Kramer was good. He was hilarious.
I mean, out of all the characters in that show, I probably would say I liked him best because
really,
he was.
I'm surprised. I would have thought he would annoy you. Just
yeah, but he didn't. But the other ones were just asshole annoying. Like they were just assholes.
Yeah, Kramer was definitely more
goofy and like
oblivious.
doofy.
Sometimes I would say maybe to
and
some of the stuff.
He had like one-liners where like Jerry was just a freaking stick in the mud.
Kramer was just like oblivious and blunt. Like,
yeah. But like Jerry was a stick in the mud. Like
he was very like high strung.
Like Kramer's the guy in the room. Like everybody knows when you shouldn't say something. Kramer would say it.
Yeah,
but not come from a bad place.
No. And so you were just like, you're hilarious.
Yeah. Like I remember, like Jerry had a girlfriend with a big nose.
I was about to say the exact same thing. He's like, you'd be beautiful if you didn't have a nose job. You could probably be a model if you had got a nose job.
Yeah, everyone else is like, "Oh my God, Kramer, what did you just say?" He's like, what? Kramer's like, "I'm trying to help her out."
Yeah, and then she ended up getting one, I think.
Yeah,
and then
she left Jerry.
Left Jerry, yeah.
But I mean, like George was just a whiny little biatch.
Well, he was just neurotic and had he
Elaine
had a
was
Marie Barone for a mother. And
Elaine was just like, ew.
Ew?
Like she's just annoying. They're all annoying.
Well, none of them were like endearing characters. Really.
No, that's what I mean. Like out of all of them, like Kramer was the one that was like, okay, like he could be annoying, but like
no. And I loved Seinfeld.
Okay, me too. While we're talking about Seinfeld, then because we like to go on side talks. You have to pick one, but who's your favorite character on Seinfeld, Steve?
Probably Kramer, I think.
What about you, Eric?
I think
I feel like you're a George guy.
I like George, but I like George's dad better.
Yeah, Frank
Costanza. Yeah. He was hilarious.
Yeah.
He hated Elaine. Him and Elaine got into it.
Yeah,
I mean, a piece of me.
Yeah. Let's do this.
But actually, George was evil because didn't he try and wasn't he happy when his fiance died?
Yeah,
he wasn't upset necessarily.
Yeah, that was sort of a weird.
Yeah. He had the Summer of George after that, right?
Oh my gosh, because you're so amazing, George. Yeah, he just had the whiny voice. No,
but do the Summer of George was?
No, I don't know.
He just want to sit on his couch with his underwear and eat cheese.
I mean, hi, sign me up. Can I have the Summer of Kelly? Mine is the sitting in underwear because that's just uncomfortable. I'm going moo-moo, full moo-moo with no bra or underwear, eating cheese, watching TV.
Yeah.
Summer of Kelly, sign me up.
See, you and George are more like than you think.
Yeah, but I wasn't mean. I'm not mean.
Okay.
Well, George wasn't mean. Like this.
Okay.
He was lazy. Didn't want to work.
He was lazy and selfish.
Yeah, but he wasn't mean.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe I need to rewatch the show.
You should. It's worth a watch. It's on Netflix.
Give it another chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I do have to say, out of all the characters, honestly, the Jerry character I despise the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
It was just.
Yeah, he was definitely kind of whiny and obnoxious and annoying.
Excuse me. All right, we're in the top 2 now, guys.
All right.
I'm just still thinking of Summer of Kelly. Like, how can I make it even better?
Yeah,
Damn.
and you
I
can
don't
just say
know.
this is supposed to be the summer of George.
I was just thinking of Frank Costanza's flashback to the war when he was the cook.
Yeah.
And he
Okay.
poisoned all of the troops.
Yeah.
by accident.
Everybody focus.
Sorry, go on.
Number 2 is Wilson from Home Improvement, the half-faced philosopher. Every chat over the fence was a therapy session in disguise, mysterious, wise, and impossible not to love. He's an iconic neighbor. Like,
Yeah, he was good. Oh, it was just good the way you never saw his face. and
Yeah.
stuff
but
like
do
that.
you remember? Sorry, hold on. Sorry, I had a froggy in my throat. But do you remember, like, I don't know, I still have clips of it, whether it was the last episode or, like, you know how they do live tapings and they come out on stage? He would walk out with a
I
fence in
remember
front of
seeing
his
that.
Oh,
He had
yeah.
like a popsicle stick
Yeah.
fence that
Fence,
he would
yeah.
cover his face
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he gave like stereotypical, like, you know, tied up in a pretty bow box advice.
Yeah.
But he was what Tim needed, right? To
Well,
bring Tim
because
down
Tim was
to
very
fly by the seat of his
dolty
pants.
and, yeah, just kind of not, you know,
Yeah.
not the sharpest tool in the shed.
He was sort of like a kinder Mr. Feeney from the sounds
Yeah.
of things.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
Same thing is, you know, other side of the fence, giving advice.
Yeah, exactly.
Wasn't every episode like there was the little like 2-minute in the middle of the episode where Tim would go out, you know, take the garbage
Pretty
out.
much
Wilson would
every
be there.
time there'd be some.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm guessing it must have been like every episode. I
Yeah, I
don't know
feel
for
like it-
sure, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And I feel like sometimes it was the wife or the kids would do it too.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it was sort of anybody. It wasn't specifically. Well, I think it was mostly Tim,
Yeah.
but I think
Yeah.
he would kind of impart wisdom to whoever.
Yeah, I think the formula was basically Tim would do something in, you know, trying to do something good. It
Yeah.
would mess up and backfire, of course.
Yeah.
And then Tim would hit rock bottom, not really know what went wrong or how he got where he was, go in the backyard, and he'd get advice from
Yeah, he'd
Wilson.
And I
explain to
feel-
Wilson what happened.
And I
then,
Yeah.
feel like Wilson's advice was usually like in like very like, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, it wasn't just like, yeah, you know, wake up and smile. It was very like poetry.
I think he would
Not
definitely
poetry, I can't think of the
sometimes
word.
be a little more esoteric.
Was
No,
that what
he-
the word? Wow, that's I've never heard that
no,
word.
yeah, no, I
what does
think
that
he-
mean?
Well, just kind of out there. Like he would never. It's not. I don't know if he would always sort of say, "Hey Tim, you need to do A, B, and C."
It would be like
he would
in
sometimes give like a
riddles.
story. Yeah, exactly.
Like that's the word, riddles.
Yeah, sort of something like that. Like he would kind of tell him a story that kind of
Where Tim would walk away
gave
like,
him the answer, but it
"Hmm."
wasn't like, "Hey Tim, you need to do this."
No.
Oh yeah, but
From what I
it more
remember, that
now.
was kind of like that. Where sometimes he'd be a little more
he'd
like,
tell a fable of like, you know, African tribes people or something. It would somehow relate to what Tim did wrong.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He'd sort of. He wouldn't just be like, "Hey Tim, you need to go and apologize." He would sort of tell like a story of something that related to the scenario. And it's like,
It made you
Yeah.
go, oh,
things
okay.
that make you go,
Hmm.
Can you say that word again?
esoteric.
How do you learn those words?
I'm pretty sure I learned that in high school or something. I
Oh,
don't know.
I didn't do
to be
well in
honest,
high
yeah.
school, clearly.
I could be wrong. I don't know.
How do you
yeah.
spell it?
ESOTERIC.
I thought it was an A. Esoteric? I would have
it's
failed that spelling bee.
esoteric. Yeah.
Esoteric's a different one.
Really?
No.
Oh, damn, I feel so dumb right now.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I need someone fact me if I'm wrong, if I spelled that wrong. But
I thought it was like AST. I was like,
no, it's esoteric.
oh, okay. Well,
But
I'm going to have to do some
yeah,
research on
I
that
could
word.
be totally wrong, but I think that's how you spell it.
Next time I play Scrabble, I'm going to keep that up there.
It's a good one.
Spelled with an E, not an A. Esoteric. Look, I spelled the word. Give me the triple word score.
Asshole Terry.
Learn something new every day. All right, we are at number 1. Okay, wait. Before we
What?
get to number 1, do you think Wilson's top 3?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I feel
No.
like maybe not in our personal opinion, but I feel like iconically he is.
was a big part of that show.
And I feel like he gave, because like, let's be real, a lot of like, you know, men watch that show because it was basically about like a man.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of them might have been like, ooh, that's
Well, and
kinda
the big
great.
thing too, I think in terms of like just being a neighbor, memorable, the uniqueness of how they had him like hidden behind the. I think that was a big thing. You never saw his face; he was always there, but like
Yeah.
that hidden sort of mystique to who
Like,
Wilson was.
You don't think of Home Improvement without thinking of Wilson.
No, exactly. And then like Wilson, was it his first name? Was it his last
Yeah,
name? What was
and
Wilson's
that's-
story?
you never
I think
really-
did he ever talk about his wife?
He did a
I
few
forget.
times,
Yeah,
but you never
but-
saw her. But that's the thing. He was not only the giver of advice, he was mysterious.
Yeah.
The mysterious Wilson. Did he even
Imagine-
exist, or was he just like
I
a
was gonna
Doesn't
say,
say, like-
imagine
mind?
all along it was like just Tim's like,
Tim was on a coke binge, and
yeah,
Would that be something if like they revealed his face and it's just Tim staring back at himself?
yes.
oh, that'd be a
It was
mind
like
fuck.
himself
Whoa.
talking. that would have been a better ending.
Actually, I don't even remember how that show ended.
Oh, I
And
don't
then it's just
remember.
like Tim's just like, get out of my mind. And he wakes up in a mental hospital.
He like murders himself somehow.
I feel like it ended. I feel like it ended with like one of the kids leaving or something. I don't know. Or they moved or
Probably,
something. I
I'd
don't
have
know.
to- yeah, Jesus, I can't remember how that show ended at
I
all.
only really watched that show because my parents always had it on.
Yeah,
so.
I remember. I definitely watched it.
I mean, I
yeah.
watched it because of that. But like, if they didn't watch it, I don't know if I would have watched
Yeah,
it.
well, I don't know.
Although sitcoms were the shit back then. I watched them all.
Sitcoms were huge. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
so many sitcoms.
Yeah, they were everywhere back then.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right,
Super popular.
let's go to number 1 so Eric can stop twitching.
I'm not twitching.
Well, you're getting all like,
Was that really?
well, no, you're not really, but like internally, you're like, let's get to number 1. Let's get Eric.
Whoop.
I better hear like a 10-minute speech about number 1 after I say it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I like to get to number 1 to find out who it
First, we
is.
gotta get there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ned Flanders, The Simpsons, the patron saint of neighborliness. Can't say that word. Overly polite, intensely wholesome, endlessly mocked, but honestly, he was always there and always trying his best.
Ned Flanders.
Is, this
That's a good
is
one.
he better
That is a
than,
good one.
Is he better than Kramer for number 1?
That is so damn tough. I
It
don't
was
know.
a good one.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because like him and Homer had such a good like
hated each other.
rivalry.
Well,
yeah.
Homer hated him.
It was a one-sided rivalry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Homer hated Ned, but Ned didn't know. Ned thought
Aw.
Ned thought they were like
they were buddies.
best buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was like, oh, poor Ned.
And he only wanted the best for Homer and the
Yeah.
Simpsons and stuff. Sometimes we cross the little lines. Remember, he tried to baptize the kids. And
Well,
stuff.
he was a little bit of
yeah,
a...
that's not.
Yeah.
It's not your business, there, Ned.
Yeah.
yeah. But I think that's a good choice. Ned Flanders is a good one. Lots of, you know,
Yeah, exactly. He had lots of like interesting catchphrases. He had
Yeah.
like good episodes where he was like
Remember
a key
when his
player.
wife died? She fell off the bleachers?
yeah,
I
she was hit
remember
by
that.
a t-shirt gun. Yeah.
I know.
But what was some Ned Flanders catchphrases?
Oh my god! I just remember the last thing he said to his wife. He's like, "Don't get. I want a hot dog, but not a foot long. I'm intimidated by footlongs or something like that."
Yeah.
Jesus. So he was a dirty,
Yeah.
underlying dirt. Not that he knew it was dirty, but
No.
the writers made it like
Yeah.
underlining
Oh
dirty.
yeah.
What were some of his catchphrases though?
Yeah.
Howdy ho, neighborito.
That was it.
Oh.
No.
That was Wilson,
Was that-
wasn't
was
it?
it Wilson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. There's too
Oh
many
no,
catchphrases.
he said.
Oh.
No, why am I
no.
totally blanking on?
You guys are
No,
not
was it
paying-
Howdy Ho Simpsons or
I thought it was
something?
like Howdy Ho Simpsons or
I don't know. Everybody's yelling at
No,
their
I'm totally
screens right
blanking
now.
on it now. Yeah, but he was great though.
But
Ned.
you
Like
said
there
he
were
had a
so
lot.
many
he
good
said like
episodes.
doodly diddly a lot at the end of his sentences.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, he would just like make up like words though, like
Yeah.
that. Like yeah.
What was his
When he
kid's
get
name?
flustered, he would just rifle off those words back to back. He'd be like, doodly diddly diddly.
That's what he had like he was like David Lee Roth. Or
What?
he was the original scat man.
What were his kids' names?
Rod and Todd
And Maud.
and Maud.
Rod
Yeah.
Todd Maud.
They
The
were
Flanders.
great. Yeah. I don't want any damn
Did he ever
vegetables.
get remarried? Or he stayed single?
No. Well, he did for one episode. Remember him and Homer met those women?
Yeah, he dated the teacher, Mrs. Krabappel, for a bit.
Oh yeah.
I also have a question. Was Ned Flanders, he wasn't there from the beginning.
Not.
Pretty-
I don't know about season 1 to be honest, because
yeah,
that
season one was kind of a weird
yeah,
season.
but he was around. I think like
Really?
Yeah.
pretty much from the
Simpsons
get go.
didn't really hit its stride to like season 2 and 3
Yeah.
onwards. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize he was there that long.
I'm pretty sure. Don't quote because honestly I couldn't tell you when he showed up. But I'm pretty sure from what I remember that he was around like early on.
Yeah.
But it was great. Like some of the episodes they have, and just him being
He would
sort
just
of
like
Homer.
pop up.
Yeah, exactly. And Homer just hated him, and
But why did Homer hate him?
because he had he had a nice house, no manner
Oh.
kids. He had like the basement with like the beer taps and just
He looked good in his ski outfit.
What did
Stupid sexy Flanders.
what was Ned Flanders' job?
at one point he owned the Leftorium, his own store.
Yeah.
Oh,
Left-handed
that's
But I
right.
don't remember
For
what he did
left-handed items.
Yeah, I don't remember what he did before that. To be honest, I don't know if they really said.
No, I don't think they did. to
If
be
they did,
honest.
I can't remember. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but yeah,
Yeah.
no, Ned Flanders is a great neighbor. He was great on the. He's
Yeah.
just lots of funny
There's
stuff.
a lot of
and-
layers there between him and Homer, right? Like him,
Yeah.
Homer was jealous of Ned being so perfect in so many different ways. It was like keeping up with the Joneses, right? If Ned
That's-
got like
yeah.
a new car or something, Homer wanted one.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
it was an RV, wasn't it? They got an RV, then Homer had to go get an RV.
Okay, yeah, I remember Homer getting the RV. Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay. We could talk about that for hours. I'm
yeah.
sure.
No, there's
Yeah.
a lot, but yeah, because
But I do have a question for you guys.
Okay.
Before we get to the honorable mentions, out of this list, is there any that you think are missing from the list that should kick somebody else off, or I don't know?
Oh, in terms of Neighbours, geez, I'd have to think.
The thing is, I feel like we think there's a lot of Neighbours.
Well, that's what I'm just trying to think of other shows with
Actually,
Neighbours on it.
two of them are on. I just looked ahead on the honorable mentions list. So when we get to them, we can see if they deserve to be on the list.
Yeah, I can't think. Off the top of my head, I'm not thinking of a neighbor that was missed. What about like Achmonic from Alf?
Oh yeah, the nosy neighbor.
I'm not sure if she would be on this
What's
list or
the
not.
name?
Mrs. Achmonic.
Oh,
Achmonic, yeah.
Yeah, she was the neighbor in
Achmonic?
Alf who was always trying to find. She was convinced that they had some sort of hidden thing in their house or whatever.
Oh.
Yeah,
She was,
exactly.
she was like the nosy neighbor.
She's
She
looking
was
through
Jerry's
the windows. Yeah.
Mom. Jerry's mom from
maybe,
Seinfeld.
maybe she made honorable mention. I don't know.
Let's find out.
All right, let's go to honorable mentions.
Okay.
Jack Farland or McFarland, Will and Grace, across the hall and across every boundary, dramatic, fabulous, and always in your business. Yeah, he's a pretty iconic neighbor. I forgot he was a neighbor. I just thought of him as a friend, but he was the neighbor.
Yeah.
And I feel like he probably could have been on that top 10 list because he was a pretty iconic neighbor.
Yeah, I didn't really watch Will and Grace, but I've seen episodes and he was funny as. He's got that huge podcast now with Smart.
Does he?
Smartless
Smartless,
with Will Arnett and Jason Bateman.
Oh, I mean, he was a great character. Jack character was
But that's
hilarious.
what I'm saying. Like he was a huge character. I'm actually now that
I
seeing
think
this
he should
name,
be on
I'm
the
sort of
top
surprised
10.
he wasn't on this list. Yeah.
Well, because I think people forget because he's Will's friend first. He just happens to live across the street,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
when the show started. Oh, I just lost my headphone. When the show started, he was Will's friend,
Yeah.
and then again, he just happened to live. It wasn't like he was introduced as the neighbor.
Well, and that's what I was about to say. The same thing. Maybe that's why, because he wasn't really portrayed as "quote unquote" the neighbor. He was just a
lived
friend who
there.
lived next door. It wasn't like,
Yeah.
oh, here's the neighbor Jack.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe that's
But
why.
Will and Grace, I loved Will and Grace. Jack and Karen together were like probably two of my favorite duos of TV.
Which one was Karen? That was Megan Mullally.
Yeah, she was effing hilarious on that show.
Yeah, I remember seeing.
Like,
I've seen.
so
Yeah,
funny on
she's
that
good.
show.
Yeah, I
They-
know she's married to Nick Offerman, eh?
Yeah, they both played their roles super exaggerated, super over the top, but like
Because she was
it
kind of like
worked.
the drunken, divorced,
Rich.
wealthy. Her
And
husband
Jack was like her little like play toy, not like in that way, but in like the
schemes and like just up to
because he was never had any money, and she would just be like, "I'll give you like money if you do this with me," and just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
But it was a good. Did you watch the show, Eric?
No,
Eric
actually,
just
I
fell
don't.
asleep.
No, I didn't watch Will and Grace.
Really at all?
I knew about it. I watched a couple episodes, but I didn't watch it like enough to like really comment about the
It
character.
was a good show. I need to rewatch that show. All right. Mimi Bobek, the Drew Carey show. Her makeup was loud, her opinions were louder, and she was always popping in with a perfectly timed insult. I never watched that show, so I don't know. I thought she was the
I was
secretary.
gonna say. I thought she was. I thought they were coworkers.
Yeah, they were coworkers. They weren't.
Yeah,
neighbors.
I don't think they were
Ooh,
neighbors.
ChatGPT, you failed
No,
us. This is
that-
what happens.
I'm
That's a
pretty
category
sure.
fail. Like
Yeah,
she was a good like side character, but
Yeah, but I'm not crazy, right? Like they were just
they were coworkers.
coworkers,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
All right, we'll skip that one. Marcy and Jefferson Darcy married with children. The
Oh,
Bundys,
shit.
the Bundys, sassy, sometimes scheming neighbors who kept the chaos going. Marcy's sarcasm and Jefferson's smooth talk made them
They were
unforgettable.
good.
They
And then
should have been in the top 10.
They were good
Yeah.
ones,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, then you also had, remember before Jefferson, you had
Marcy and
was it
Steve. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, the first
why are all the
husband?
annoying characters named Steve?
I don't know. Yeah, it seems impossible to me. An annoying Steve? Is that
Steve
even
Urkel?
possible? They must be spelled with a PH.
Of course.
But yeah, I remember them. They were like big parts of the show, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well especially Marcy.
Marcy,
like
for sure.
her and Al would.
She was
They're
crazy.
bickering and their hatred, you can feel it back and
Oh
forth.
yeah, the stuff he would refer to her as sometimes, like
She was
you would call her like
crazy.
a little boy or all this
Oh,
stuff. And
yeah.
Like a chicken, like she
Yeah.
was like a chicken and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
the two of them were really good. Not so much that because I'm pretty sure from what I remember, like Al and Steve were kind of friendly in at least the first.
Yeah.
Well, they were all. Well, there was always like the tension
Yeah.
with Marcy, but they were like the neighbors that wanted to be like friends.
Because
Yeah, and
Al
well,
sort of turned Steve against Marcy a lot of times
Yeah.
too. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always envisioned like because Steve and like Marcy and whoever were kind of more.
They were like the preppy neighbors.
They were more preppy, a little more,
Yeah.
which I think was why Al was kind of like not big fans of
They
them.
were
cold
like
on them.
Todd
Yeah.
and Margot.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Is like Todd and Margot in Christmas
Exactly.
Vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're uptight and just total opposite of Al Bundy.
Yeah,
Yeah. Huh.
So, but
Okay.
I
That's
think
amazing.
that's
Those
actually a good
good
one.
neighbors,
I think
yeah.
I
they should
feel-
probably be in the list and not an honorable
I would
mention, yeah.
honestly.
I think so.
Honestly, because Seinfeld has two, I would kick Newman off and put them in his place.
No way. I kick off one of the fence boys. Mr. Feeney, you're out.
Yeah, Mr. Feeney.
Yeah,
true.
I mean, Mr. Feeney, yeah.
But I mean, Mr. Feeney was iconic for us when we were kids. You know, whatever. Okay, we
Yeah, I didn't find him that iconic as a kid either, to be honest.
I
But
mean, whatever. This one's another like.
I don't need some gray old man telling me what to do. Get the hell out of here.
This is another. This is another one that is kind of cheating the system here. ChatGPT. Gunther from Friends worked at Central Park, but practically lived in Rachel's orbit. Quietly, the neighbor barista of the decade. I mean,
Did you ever see him outside of the coffee shop?
one
though?
time he went to their apartment for a party, but no, he was
Yeah,
always in
but-
the coffee shop. But he was a great character.
I think he was really good character, but again, you could probably do another list of co-workers because
Or-
him, like
Yeah.
Mimi from Drew
or
Carey.
side characters or
Yeah,
something.
he was really good, but
Neighbor, no.
he wasn't
Not
the
a neighbor,
neighbor. So
yeah.
right away, it's like, well, he wasn't the neighbor. So
He died too, I believe.
he did.
He
I was
did,
kind of
yeah.
right around the time they had that big
He
reunion
was
thing,
sick,
right?
and then he died. I can't remember if it was like colon cancer or
Something
pancreatic
like
cancer.
that. But it's
but
too bad because
he was
Gunther
really
was a
good.
really, really good character.
He was
yeah.
so creepy, but not like bad creepy.
Well,
just
he was
like
just desperately in love with Rachel
yeah,
and just
she had to know. Well,
didn't know how to,
Couldn't bridge that gap.
Because he kind of knew he was like kind of a dorky looking guy with like the receding hairline and,
And
the
then-
blonde hair.
Dyed
and
blonde hair, yeah.
This beautiful from a wealthy
Young waitress,
family.
yeah.
and then
didn't know how
he
to.
like hated Ross so much.
I think, yeah, well, no, exactly. He was like that secret foil of like, yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
he ratted Ross out for cheating on her. So.
yeah, he got his. Hey, you know what?
I
you,
just remember.
Ross.
And then Gunther got his, right?
I remember that scene.
No,
I
he
remember
never got in
that.
there.
I remember that scene when Ross runs in and he looks at Gunther and he says, "Did you tell? Don't tell whoever." And he's like, "Oh, was I not supposed to tell her?" With a little smirk on his face.
he knew what he did.
exactly. Yeah,
He knew what he
was
did.
biding his time, but he was a good
Yeah.
character, but just not a neighbor. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, overall, the whoa, my mouth was moving faster than my brain there.
It seems to happen a lot.
Get the hamster back on the wheel. Let's wrap this up.
Over. Jesus, I swear Eric wants to be here.
I do.
But overall, the list was pretty good. I think like we're
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
forgetting some, but
Oh,
you know.
absolutely, we are. But it's just fun because it's a good mixed list of different
Yeah.
shows and all comedies. Obviously, I think, yeah,
Yeah, because
But,
that's the
uh,
'90s are all sitcoms.
yeah. But
like
no, it was a good list,
80s.
and yeah.
Well, that wraps up our stroll down the cul-de-sac of TV neighbors. Some lovable, some loud and unforgettable. Kind of like that one neighbor who borrowed your lawnmower and never gave it back.
Next week, we're trading long gossip for superstar secrets and diving into the Carters documentary. Spoiler alert, it's got a lot more plot twists than a season of reality TV.
So buckle up, because whether you stand or just love a good tea spill, we're bringing all the hits and maybe a few surprises.
Thank you guys so much for watching and listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
Take care, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.